This is Channel 6 News. I'm Jeannie Lurchin, along with Richard Corey, with a look at what's happening in and around the Tri-Community area this week. Over 100 business and community leaders came together last week at the Romeo Ford engine plant for the Chamber of Commerce's annual State of the Community Luncheon. A lot of positive ideas and goals were presented, including this from Bruce Township Supervisor Jim Tignanelli.
Wouldn't you know, we have a developer who has an interested party to put in a medical campus there, $50 million project. It's 100 sewer taps perhaps. It's 400 construction jobs. If it gets built, it's 550 to 700 permanent jobs, which will be shopping in Washington and eating at the Sonic and shopping in Armada and Ray and shopping in Romeo. Every one of those guys that comes here, maybe they're going to want to move to town so they live a little closer to where they work. We think it's a tremendous opportunity. But what does it need? It needs water. You can't run a medical campus on well water because it's just cost prohibitive in order to try to make it so that you can run dialysis machines and the other projects that are going on routinely in a medical campus like this. And this is a big project. It's an urgent care. It's a senior citizen housing. It's a wonderful project if you could get a chance to see it.
Romeo President Paul Reese surprised everyone by naming the businesses that have recently opened in the village.
Additionally, the following industrial businesses liked it enough in Romeo to expand their businesses here: Shelby Enterprises, Hard Milling Solutions, Ultraform Industries, Boltso Manufacturing. These four companies combined are investing more than $5 million for improvements that will sustain and create new jobs in our communities, a new tax revenue for the village and our townships.
Then the baton was passed to Washington Township Supervisor Dan O'Leary, who also mentioned the businesses making a commitment to his township.
We are growing, even though residential is slowing down for everyone. We do have some growth, commercial growth. We are, thank God, we just approved the Taco Bell and the Sonic coming to Van Dyke. So we're now on the map. We have a Taco Bell. The Ava Center, which is behind it, it's all right next to the library, is starting to fill up with tenants, which has a fitness center, and hopefully we'll have an Art and Jake soon, and that'll just be great for everybody. Advanced Auto just opened up on Van Dyke. Rite Aid on 29 will open shortly. We've got a Bangkok Cuisine going in at 26 Mile. Santino's, which is a restaurant in that multi-story building on the west side of Van Dyke, will be opening later this year. They'll have a pub, they'll have kind of a nicer jazz kind of a restaurant and a couple other things. That'll be great. And we hopefully will have a tiramisu on the east side of Van Dyke coming soon. So we've got some growth. We're happy about it. We got a lot of restaurants, lots of places to eat. And all of that, those are amenities that build on our strength, which is still an open environment, a smaller town atmosphere, but with amenities and with people.
The shared goal that came from this luncheon is that the three municipalities are going to work together to try to make the area great for all of us. At the last Washington Township trustee meeting, there was a malfunction with the videotaping system, so the meeting will not be aired this week on Channel 6. You can, however, go to the Washington Township website for information on what was discussed. Visit washingtontownship.org. Timothy Kyle Prince, the accused killer of Dorothy Cizik, went before District Court Judge Dennis LeDuc for his preliminary hearing. Stephen Frears, the court-appointed attorney for Prince, asked the court for a delay of the preliminary hearing. The prosecutor's office gave over 400 pages and 23 discs of discovery material to Prince's attorney. Judge Dennis LeDuc set the preliminary exam date for May 19, 2009. Bond is continued, and Prince remains in custody. During the March 23rd school board meeting, Superintendent Joe Beck announced his resignation beginning November 30th, 2009. More details from this meeting will be aired in our next regularly scheduled newscast. The Village of Romeo Police Department is currently investigating an alleged incident of inappropriate conduct of a teacher. Channel 6 intends to follow this investigation. The Romeo Police Department welcomed a new officer to the force, Dwayne Hunger.
As far as my work experience goes, I went to Macomb Police Academy, graduated in 2003. I got a job 2 years afterwards up in Brown City. For you who don't know where Brown City is, it's up in Sanilac County, right on the border of Lapeer County, very small town, about 1,300 people. So coming to Romeo is a little bit bigger of a town, but not real big. I like the small town feel. That is one reason why I've always strived to be in another small town. The small town feel is what I like about Romeo. I've noticed that the officers, I mean, the ones that have worked here a while, like Officer Blevins, she is known by a lot of people in the community, and everyone seems to get along real well. The chief of police, Chief Paduch, is very community oriented. He lives here in town, so that is one thing that I liked about this department, that Romeo is a close-knit community, but it still has a big-time appeal when it comes to police work. There are some things that still go on in town, that the crime that you do still have to deal with some big crime, and then you still have to deal with your barking dog complaints and things of that sort. So those are the things that brought me to this community.
So folks, watch your speeding. Those rookies can be tough. At the last village meeting, one of the agenda items discussed was that the well that supplies the village its water is going dry. However, village clerk Mary McLaughlin disputes that.
Thanks, Jeannie. I just wanted to let the residents know that while we're going through this repair on our well system, that you should be assured that the water quality will remain the same, which is a safe drinking water standard quality. And at this particular point in time, we do a 3-year maintenance on our wells up there on First Street, and we discovered that the casing unit on one of the wells is bad. They have to take that out, and we do have to do a new well, dig a new well, and it will be at the same site. And the cost of this is going to be close to $150,000. So right now we're looking at different ways of financing that. If there's any good news in the story, I suppose you could say that it's happened now and not in the middle of July. But just rest assured that the water will remain safe to drink. Everything's fine with that, and we'll get a new well dug and be back on target for the summer months. So thanks again for the opportunity to let everybody know everything's going to be all right. Thank you.
2 school board meetings ago, the board took over 40 minutes just to decide about changing an agenda item. At the March 19th special board meeting, it seems this pattern was repeated, as Mrs. White called for the agenda to be approved.
We need to at least call the vote for that approval of the agenda.
Because we're not going to approve the agenda. It's not going to happen because I'm not going to vote to approve the agenda with that on there.
We just need to go through the motions to actually call the roll call for approval of the agenda.
Mrs. White then called for a motion to approve consent items, and once again the board could not move forward.
Okay, we can move on to consent action. Do I have a motion for consent action, approve the minutes? No motion? I'll make the motion. Do I have support? Okay, do we want to take a recess till the rest of the board comes? I'm not sure what we're waiting on.
Superintendent Joe Beck tried to encourage the board to consider an agenda item, the restructuring of the business office. However, the board still was in contention as whether or not the issue should even be on the agenda.
And I have a number of concerns, but one of my concerns was, Cindy Schwartz, she was here earlier. Obviously, I've talked to Cindy a lot in the last month. She would like to know what her future is in Romeo School sooner instead of later, so we can move on. And I believe we have a good solution that has support of the board. And if you believe we should do it Monday night, again, that can work. I would ask you, even if you do officially keep this on the agenda, that we would not be voting on anything tonight.
When President Dale Chesney arrived, he was feeling the frustration too.
Now I'm going to throw in some sarcasm. The length of time we've taken just to discuss whether it should be on the agenda has overspent the length of time that would have taken to allow Mr. Beck to provide us the information for us to move forward.
Before the meeting